Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Ray Coates, and I'm standing in for David Bowie. David, as you know, was due to come over today and present some videos, but he seems to have disappeared. Probably in the tape library somewhere. I think I locked him in. I might have locked him in. So I'll just go on without him. Well, some time ago, 1972, when he was still Ziggy Stardust, he wrote another album called A Lad Insane. And to connect those two together, he wrote one song on a Greyhound bus going from New York to Miami. Miami, was it? Was it Miami, David? Memphis. No, Memphis. He wrote this song on a bus going from New York to Memphis, and they recorded it and mixed it when they got back to New York again. It was called Gene Genie, and it was a very early video. It was by Mick Rock. What you'll find very interesting is that this is the transition between Ziggy and a completely different character called Aladdin. Notice how it looks exactly like Ziggy Stardust. Isn't that clever? I always thought that was very clever of him. And also it's sort of proto-punk, except for the earring. And the lipstick. And no shirt. Mick Ronson's in this one. Here it is, Gene Genie.
I've tried very hard to stay away from any music in any films that I'm supposedly an actor in.
Yeah.
Because it's hard enough just sort of being convincing as an actor without saying, and the music's written by him as well. So if you don't like it in acting, you might like the music. They've got to like the acting only.
Strangely, I do get the feeling that by listening to the album, we can kind of get closer to you than we have for many years in terms of knowing who you are and where you are at this stage.
You know, Jonathan, that'll never happen.
I wanted to actually just take a brief walk down memory lane. But first of all, just to look at some of the different characters. Liz, put these up, because it's good to refresh everybody's memory. Of course, there was the young David. This is you early on. Then there was Ziggy Stardust, of course, favorite to me. Then there was the Thin White Duke, of course, my personal favorite. And then there was a period there where you were trying different personas.
No, don't do this to me.
No, I don't remember if other people remember this. We reviewed this once on the show, but you were trying different personas that I don't think quite had the commercial appeal. There was the suave hunchback. Do you remember this at all?
Ernie Stardust.
Yeah. There was the buck-toothed wizard. I remember he was... And then this is strange. Your corn on the cob period I found confusing. I don't know what...
So when do we expect to see you in England?
Do you know, I hadn't a clue. Embarrassing. Somebody over there is going to search it. 3 weeks, I would imagine. About 3 weeks.
I look forward to the day she sees her first picture of Ziggy Stardust.
Oh, that I can cope with. No, that's no problem. No, we'll just laugh about that. Or she'll just laugh about that. Rephrase that.
Bowie, secrets.
In the original version of Space Oddity, I sang, "Ground control, I miss my mum. Ground control, I miss my mum." What can I say? I miss mum.
Speaking of Sydney, I think it was the second show that you did in Sydney. You got a nice little surprise when you left the venue after the show.
Yes, I know. All the people I owed money to turned up outside the show, and it was really quite touching. Well, they wanted to touch me anyway.
Yeah, we've got the footage of it here. You had all these fans waiting outside, and they're all singing, they're all serenading.
Yeah.
Which was lovely.
They're singing, "Show me the money."
Now, this must still be quite incredible for you to come out after a show and see something like this.
Yeah, that was amazing. And then they all nicked the cars in the car.
What is your opinion of the younger groups today?
The younger groups?
Yeah.
Very small. They're usually about that big.
No, seriously.
Whopping great guitars.
The video you did with Jagger, were you able, when you were actually doing it, were you able to enjoy the song that much more as well than the actual performance? Was it different from doing it?
Well, the difference, there was absolutely nothing premeditated about it.
Yeah. Lies. You can't get away with saying that kind of thing.
Absolutely nothing premeditated about it.
It's a good one, wasn't it? Have you got a good shot of these shoes? I love talking cameras. Don't you love talking cameras? Do that again. Have you got a good shot of these shoes?
A lot into it about David Bowie and the images, and don't you dare take my notes. I don't have a great...
James Osterberg, yeah, Iggy Pop. There were about 3 or 4 of us. There was Jimmy and his girlfriend, and there was myself and one other. We had our apartments in the same block on, it was called, if I remember, Hauptstrasse, 100 Fünfundfünfzig in Charlottenburg. That's how I used to go. You get very drunk and Hauptstrasse, 100 Fünfundfünfzig. And you get home.
David, forgive me, but you don't look anything like a pop singer.
Thank you.
No, really. I mean, you know, pop singers are usually flamboyant type people, but you're just in an ordinary pair of trousers and a shirt, and
even my socks match.
You're far cry.
You said that the lives of the rock stars are really not as strange as the lives of the fans, and that the fans actually, it's an interesting point, that the fans sort of envy the stars, but in effect the stars live their conventional lives and envy the fans. And it strikes me as odd, the idea that, you know, fans are out shoving, I don't know, nutmeg under their cuticles or something and trying to be really freaky. And you and Jagger are sitting around discussing economics before the Anschluss in the Benelux nations or something. Am I exaggerating?
No, he speaks economics and I don't understand him.
So, David...
I had a hell of a time getting here.
I know, go on. I know you want to talk about this, go on.
Let me tell... No, you don't know. I tried to cross Hammersmith Bridge, and I didn't know that the rich people have got it all blocked up.
Right.
So I got fined, dragged into court, all that, all in the last half hour.
No way.
Yes, it's absolutely true. And I've had gastroenteritis. All in the last half hour.
And can't you tell the gastroenteritis is still doing the rounds?
Do you know how I got that?
Go on.
I was in Indonesia. I was lost in the jungle. This is absolutely true. What?
I believe you.
Yeah. And an old man with one leg and a donkey found me and took me to a glade and pointed to a temple and a palace. And I said, I'm not Muslim. Wife is, I'm not. So we're going to the palace. You're going to let me go on with this, aren't you?
Dead right, mate. You started it.
We got to the palace, and it's the son of, I think he was a gun runner, and he had guys in turrets all around the palace with guns to keep the poor people out. He was so pleased to see me that he put a sheet up in the garden, at the bottom of the garden, pouring with rain.
Yeah.
Servants holding a sheet up at the far end of the garden, had a projector on the porch where we were, and we sat and watched Sahara with Brooke Shields. Then he threw a party, and he had 7 daughters and 7 sons.
Yeah.
I always laugh when I say that bit. And the 7 daughters, they entertained me royally with dance and no, flute playing. Flute playing and dance. And he fed me things like monkey breast and parrot beak, I think it was the course that night. And the next day, I'd redecorated the bathroom. But he sent his daughter over to me.
Yeah.
His favourite daughter, he sent to me. If you know what I mean.
Yes.
And I couldn't make it to the front door. I went, go away! You're beautiful, but go away. This was many years ago. That has nothing... This has absolutely nothing to do with the fact that I got gastroenteritis the other day. That was just... It just reminded me, though, that I've had it twice.
You'd think that being a famous rock star, married to a supermodel, would be one of the greatest things in the world. It is.
What do you think? Excuse me, sir. Oh. Not much comment there.
Are you a sort of new age father now? Are you? Is it a nappy changer? Come on, David.
No, I'm ridiculously Victorian. I'm absolutely hopeless at that kind of thing. I've got a huge admiration for guys who can get in there like that. I just can't. I mean, well, I didn't. My wife didn't let me, which was great. She was, oh, get hold up here, you know, and she was like pinning and wrapping things up, and, you know, I knew there was some kind of, something in there was being prepared, and at the end of it all, my little daughter came out. That was great. I can look back on everything I've done and be pretty proud of where I've been and what I've tried to do, you know?
Right.
And I haven't got much out there that looks like, oh, he was really trying to, you know, do chart stuff then or whatever.
Right.
I got a couple of them, but I lose them.
Well, I think some of us might have come into the period that was about modern love and China Girl and Let's Dance. What was that? Where does that era fall into that? Is that the Down Here one?
So I'm moving into the 90s.
Well, I'll tell you what, one of the best...
No, you're right. There was, yeah. I mean, Let's Dance, I love that album. I think it's a really good album. And it's the next two after that, I think, were probably their millstones around my neck, and they're awful albums. Because I'd really lost my way.
You seemingly found it.
I was a poor little lamb.
What kind of reaction do you get from the people who are violently in favour of you? I mean, do you get fan mail?
Yes, a lot.
What is it? Scabrous or dangerous or interesting or exciting?
It's very sexy.
In what way?
Well, I seem to draw a lot of fantasies out of people, and a lot of the fan mail I get. A lot of it is awfully nice. I mean, they say, how's your baby, and how's your wife, and what's your mum's name, and things like that. And but some of them are worth framing.
Can you tell us about one or two of the framed ones?
No, I couldn't really. No, they really are quite heavy. Heavy-duty letters, they are.
Heavy-duty?
Heavy-duty.
Sorry, duty.
So I drop me T's sometimes.
You'll be truthful and honourable and answer every question that's put to you.
I'll be David Bowie.
Which is a useful and functional end to this interview. God bless you. Happy Christmas and good night.
Thank you. I love you very much, all of you.
Well, you are one of the most successful to go make that transition, probably for what you are. It's just talent. No, forget the talent. Do you want to go into?
I'm a creep.
Is there going to be more movies in the future?
I don't know. I mean, I've just done one, Just a Gigolo with David Hemmings.
And Marlene Dietrich.
Yeah, Marlene Dietrich. Well, Hemmings directed. Marlene Dietrich
was in it.
Oh, fantastically. And I was in bed with Kim Novak, and I carried a pig, and I die in the end, which is, that's how it starts.
Is Philip Glass going to do any more of your stuff? Because he did the symphony,
yeah, he did the Low Symphony. He's just done the Hero Symphony recently, and he's asked me if I write with him a third symphony, so I think that's exciting.
So that'll be new stuff?
Yeah, we'll write together. So that's going to be kind of scary, because he's so sort of in another world, but I'd like to do that.
Quite a compliment, though, that he does your stuff.
What's funny about that?
I think they're suggesting that you might have been in another world. On occasion, David.
Got both feet on the...
Of course. 1.5 feet in the ground.
Let me ask you, are you aware of this pressure? Because I kind of do feel, I'm sure a lot of people do, because your music genuinely has meant so much to me, I believe you have some sort of extra knowledge. You know, I'm sure a lot of fans feel this way.
I want certainty.
But I know, you're an incredibly well-read man, you're a voracious reader. You're getting on a bit, so you're getting to that point where you come into terms with inevitable death, mortality. This probably should have been at the end of the interview, but anyway, we'll...
Don't worry, it will be.
Don't go! We'll save it. It's the way I tell him. Think about it.
That kind of pride, I think, is not a good thing to fall back on whilst you're still a working artist.
Yeah.
I think for me, it's despairingly abysmal to ask me what I'm proud of, because it doesn't sort of work like that. I could tell you what I haven't liked, what I've done, but far more easily. I think it's a question of re-evaluation all the time. The fact that I've never had to buy one of my own records, I suppose. RCA've always given me one. One.
Yeah.
Look, there's a million things I could ask you, and I can't go on.
Well,
there's one question, David. Don't you fear of it anymore. There's just one thing I want to ask before I want to give you something. Now you've had it. Oh, no.
A tatty bit of paper.
Well, there's one I've never glittered in my life, which was a quote of yours. But I'd like, all right, I'll take one from the very start of your career. Off The Man Who Fell to Earth. I'd rather stay here with all the madmen than perish with the sad men, roaming free. How true is that with you now?
Do you remember much about the 70s, or are you like Jagger, where it's just kind of... Oh.
I've read up on it a lot. I know. It's like almost... It's honestly a bit like that. It gets past about 74, and I really have to read. read up about not only what I did, what anybody else did, basically.
What was happening at that time?
Yeah.
Anyone was up to. Well, let's put you to the test, if you don't mind. David doesn't know we're going to do this, but just to indulge Pete Bakey, we're going to play Beat the Intro with David Bowie. But we're only going to stick to David's songs from the 70s. So, Mr. Bakey, David, beat the intro. What's this?
Are you ready, Dave? Here we go.
Well, it's a Fender, isn't it?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I know that one. La.
Excellent.
Rebel.
All right. Okay, bingo.
5 years.
Oh, look at that. 5 years. He knows it.
Station of stuff. Really? Oh, that was pathetic.
Okay, I've got one. What about dum 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 dum?
That's fantastic.
Bum,
Yeah, that's
bum,
Shush. I know that one. I can't remember the title though. It was on Low.
It's on Heroes, isn't it?
No, it wasn't. It was on Low.
Oh, it's on Low, is it?
What is it? Low, yeah.
What's it called then, in the audience?
Bum 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 bum.
Whoa, Sense of Doubt.
It's on Heroes!
It is on here. We're going to have a debate now. Sense of Doubt is on Heroes.
It starts on the first Lightning Seeds album.
We tell them what this is right over here. You told me to mention it on stage. Ladies and gentlemen.
It's just a bunch of emails that I've gotten.
Nah, it's the lyrics to all your songs.
It's lyric upon lyric. It's the strange thing. I've been using this for years. If I don't bring it on stage, I forget everything. And if I do bring it on stage, I don't forget much.
There you go. And you were telling me that the type has gotten bigger.
Yeah. Hold on, I should prove it.
Yeah.
Let's find an old one. Yeah, okay, that was the type some time ago. That's it now. Purely decorative.
There you go.
Purely decorative.
It must have been great turning up at Top of the Pops those days, never knowing who would be dressed as a clown, who'd be a snowman.
Yeah,
Man, that's a look. And that, were there any outfits that you experimented with and even you tried them on at home in front of the mirror and thought, you know what, this is just too stupid?
That one.
Did one of your aunts knit that for you, David? That looks like a home knit job to me.
It does, doesn't it?
Someone had a machine, they said, who wants this? I tell you what, I'll give it to David.
Avant-garde Missoni job.
But you mentioned, though, when you saw Little Richard, you mentioned an interesting word, rebellion.
Yeah.
You mentioned. I mean, what was the purpose of your rebellion? What was it?
Oh, I don't think I really ever had a rebellion.
Well, you could.
No. Only against my mother and father, really. It was really no wider than that. You know, it wasn't against the world generally. I wanted to get a lot of the world. I wanted as much as I could get, so...
Well, what was wrong with your mum and dad?
They fuck you up, your mum and dad.
That's what Larky's saying. But do you believe that to be true?
With my mother, yeah. My dad was very... They fuck you up, your mum and dad. Yeah. They may not mean to, but they do. And they fill you full of faults they had. And they add some extra just for you.
So, David, thank you. Get out of him.